Chapter 585. Actually, Lin Yen could only understand the gist of what they were saying. She reckoned that she had translated most of it. At this moment, the man's jade-green eyes were filled with a bone-chilling coldness. "You want me to go home and drive a scooter?" The man with the crew cut gritted his teeth. "Who the hell are you? This has nothing to do with you." The young man beside the man retorted coldly, "Don't dig your own grave." Translate. The man gazed at Lin Yen with his green eyes. Lin Yen nodded furiously. "They said that you must have bought your driver's license. How dare you drive with such poor driving skills? It's a pity that cars can't talk." "If cars could talk," the man with the buzz cut said, "that your strength is like a woman's. You're soft and weak." He asked if you were using the widow punch. As soon as Lin Yen finished speaking, there was a loud bang. The man with the buzz cut's neck had completely bowed. "Kneel," the man ordered coldly. Bang! In the next second, the buzz cut man's knees fell to the ground, and he came into intimate contact with the yellow soil. Lin Yen couldn't help but click her tongue. This man. Who was he? The people who had chased after her were definitely not simple. If she hadn't lost her mind, she wouldn't have been able to deal with them. The group of people in front of her should be stronger than the ones she had met previously. However, they were nothing in front of this man. He had crushed them easily. "Let him go." The young man beside the man with the buzz cut bellowed angrily. He was about to strike. However, before the young man could do anything, the young man had already punched out. With a loud bang, the young man was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. When he landed, he rolled on the ground for a few more meters. This widow's punch is quite powerful. The corners of the man's mouth curled up slightly, forming an evil smile. Lin Yen was speechless. "Boss, you're awesome." Although this man's driving skills were only suitable for driving a clam, his boxing skills gave him full marks. "Damn it, you bastard. Who are you? Why are you interfering with our business? Do you know who we are? If you leave now, we can let bygones be bygones." The buzz-cut man knelt on the ground. The man's leg was still pressed against his neck. The buzz-cut man could not even raise his head to see the man's face. Flip. The man's eyes darted back to Lin Yen. Lin Yen nodded eagerly. However, this sentence was a little difficult to understand, so she had to figure it out first. Lin Yen stroked her chin and said solemnly, "He should be saying, 'You're doomed.' They have a powerful background, so you'll have no hope in this life if you provoke them. Even God can't save you. If you kneel down and call them daddy, they might consider sparing your life." The man furrowed his eyebrows. But he didn't say much. Sigh. That's how foreign languages are. "Anyway, that's what they mean," replied Lin Yen solemnly. "Understood." The man did not say anything else and finally moved his leg away from the man's neck. Chapter 586. The man raised his head with much difficulty and finally saw the man's face clearly. "You seem like a person." A look of fear appeared in the eyes of the man with the buzz cut. "He said that you look like a woman. If you have the guts, try and touch him again." Lin Yen translated for the man before he could speak. "I'm curious," the man said coldly. "Will his bones be harder than his mouth?" After saying that, the man grabbed the brush-cut man's throat and lifted him into the air. Let's talk. Maybe. It's a misunderstanding." The man's face was flushed. His throat was being strangled, so he couldn't speak clearly. He said that regardless of the misunderstanding, you have offended them today. You have to pay a heavy price. You won't even be able to drive a car in the future, replied Lin Yen. As Lin Yen translated, the man's fists rained down on the man's face. In the blink of an eye, the man's face was swollen and unsightly. That woman kept talking to him. What were they talking about? A young man behind the man glanced at Lin Yan in shock. He said that you can't even understand a foreign language. How dare you ask a woman to translate for you? You should just die, quipped Lin Yan. Interesting. When the man heard Lin Yan's translation, a hint of anger surfaced in his eyes. A few minutes later, the 6 young men who had chased after Lin Yan collapsed to the ground and wailed in agony. Spare us. We were wrong. This is definitely a misunderstanding. Run. Run. This man. I remember now. He's that man. I've seen him before. There's no mistake. Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she told the man. The first one said that you would beg for mercy one day. The second one said that you're not a human. You're a beast. He seems to have seen you somewhere before. Yes, he has seen you before. You're his dog. Really? The man lowered his head to look at the 2 men. Yeah, I think so. That's what they said. Lin Yan nodded. The man with the crew cut glared at Lin Yan and gritted his teeth. UB*TCH. What did you say to him? Given his status. You can't be with him. Translate, the man instructed Lin Yan. All right. Lin Yan nodded and pondered for a moment. He said, who do you think you are? In their eyes, you have no status. You're just an insignificant clown. He also said that you look like AB*TCH. Given your status, you don't even have the right to shine their shoes. Lin Yan's heart ached as she watched the people on the ground. They had been beaten up so badly. Couldn't they have begged for mercy? How dare they provoke them like this? They deserved to be beaten to death. After Lin Yan translated, they heard a series of screams as the 6 people on the ground were beaten up again. Half an hour later, the man glanced at them coldly and said, look at their expressions. I don't think they'll be so tough this time. The man waved his hand impatiently at them. Don't appear in my sight. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. Chapter 587. Although she didn't understand what the man was saying, she could see him waving his hand impatiently. As though they had been pardoned, they helped each other up and scrambled to get into their cars. They stepped on the accelerator and disappeared in an instant. Lin Yan couldn't help but sigh. The man's driving skills were impressive. He should consider joining the He family team as a professional racer. After they left, the man extended his hand to Lin Yan. Lin Yan was perplexed. Clothes. The man gazed at Lin Yan with his green eyes. Lin Yan hurriedly passed the suit to the man. Big brother, is everything all right? If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. You should leave too. Before they left, they asked you to wait while they called someone. Lin Yan translated for him. You crashed into my car, the man replied softly. Lin Yan couldn't control her temper when she heard him. This man had crashed into her car. Sister Ling had just bought it. She had already said that she wouldn't hold him responsible, yet he wouldn't let it go. Was he trying to extort money from her? He could give up his life, but he wouldn't extort money from her. Besides, she reckoned that even the insurance company wouldn't cover his luxurious car. She would have to pay for the repairs herself. Who could afford that? Lin Yan suppressed her anger and forced a smile. You crashed into my car. I have the dashcam. If you don't believe me, let's take a look. If I did crash into your car, you can say whatever you want. Are you saying that my driving skills aren't good enough? The man glared at Lin Yan coldly. Lin Yan shrugged. He was right. She was saying that his driving skills weren't good enough, so he should just go home and drive a toy car. Naturally, Lin Yan didn't dare say it out loud. She merely smiled helplessly. Let's look at the dashcam. Let the truth speak for itself. Okay. The man nodded and turned to Lin Yan. I have it in my car too. What is it? Lin Yan didn't know what to say. The dashcam. The man strode to his luxurious car without turning his head. Get in. The man opened the car door. She had no choice but to get into the man's luxurious car. After she got into the car, Lin Yan scanned the surroundings. She had to admit that the interior and style of the car were filled with the smell of money. The only pity was that the front of the car was dented and there were scratches on both sides. Even Lin Yan felt a twinge of heartache. After the man got in the car, he did not say a word and directly played the video of the driving recorder on the central screen. The content of the video was a recording of the 30 minutes before the crash. Lin Yan stared at the screen. The man's car was wobbly and wobbly. It would be a waste to let him drive such a good car. A moment later, the scene before the crash finally appeared on the central screen. Lin Yan's car swerved frantically to avoid it, but the man's car was like a magnet. Wherever Lin Yan's car swerved, the man's car swerved. In the end, Lin Yan's car was forced to stop, but the man's car continued to crash into it. Seeing this, the man's indifferent expression, which had always been otherworldly, finally had a slight change. Chapter 588. The man frowned, as though he couldn't believe what had happened. He rewound the recording and replayed it several times. Unfortunately, the truth couldn't be changed. Lin Yan's car had indeed stopped a long time ago. He had been stubborn and had crashed into it. This scene could even be regarded as a textbook case of faking an accident. The smile on Lin Yan's face widened as she studied the man intently. She had to admit that it was rare for this man to force her to stop. She had been forced to stop her car 3 times in her life. The first time, it had been the red light. The second time, it had been the competition. The third time, it had been the man's terrible driving skills. Lin Yan could swear to God that if this man hadn't deliberately tried to scam her, his driving skills had to be terrifying. Facts speak louder than words, right? Lin Yan glanced at the man who was deep in thought and chuckled softly. The man snapped out of his daze when he heard Lin Yan. Did you tamper with my car's camera? The smile on Lin Yan's face froze when she heard the man. Lin Yan had always thought that there weren't many people in this world who could be as shameless as her. That was until she had met this man today. You can even tamper with the driving recorder? Lin Yan had never heard of such a thing in her life. Even if she could tamper with the video, she had been sitting in the passenger seat all this time. Everything she had done had been under the man's watch. When had she touched his driving camera? Given my driving skills, I wouldn't have touched your car. The man's expression turned cold and aloof as he stared at Lin Yan with his green eyes. If you tell me the truth and say that you crashed into my car, I will let bygones be bygones. Lin Yan stared at the man and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He was talking about his driving skills. Did he have some kind of misunderstanding about driving? Driving skills? Did he have such skills? He was a Milky Way away from this thing. Big brother, you really crashed into my car. How could the driving camera be fake? Asked Lin Yan. Are you sure? I can give you another chance. Tell me the truth. The man's eyes became colder. All right. I crashed into your car, all right? Lin Yan sighed. What else could she say? You're brushing me off, aren't you? The man said coldly. Lin Yan was speechless. Someone come and save her. It was better for him to be captured by that group of people. She had had enough. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have maligned you. My driving skills are limited. Besides, this road is treacherous, so I accidentally bumped into your car. Also, my driving instructor is dead. He died of anger because of me. Lin Yan glared at the man and gritted her teeth. Very good. The man's expression softened when he heard Lin Yan. But I don't have any money to compensate you. I'm warning you, Lin Yan replied hastily. She had to admit that her driving skills were bad. Asking her to pay? No way. It doesn't matter. I forgive you. You don't have to compensate me, the man said lightly. Lin Yan was speechless, so this man just couldn't stand others saying that he was bad at driving? Be careful next time, the man said. Lin Yan grinned. Thank you for your concern. Chapter 589. Lin Yan studied the man in the driver's seat, wondering if he had a driver's license. Lin Yan had never seen such driving skills before. Even when she had first started to learn how to drive, she had never seen such a glaring performance. Not only was this man terrible at driving, but he was also extremely confident and prideful. If she were to say that he was terrible at driving, she would be in danger of falling out with him. However, Lin Yan was curious about this man's identity. Who exactly was he, heir? What's your name? Lin Yan's eyes trailed to the man as she asked with a smile. The man turned around and glanced at Lin Yan. You don't have to ask. Lin Yan was speechless. Before Lin Yan could reply, the man asked, Your name? Lin Yan grinned. You don't have to tell me. The man scanned Lin Yan from head to toe. Got it. Is that all? I'm leaving. Lin Yan was about to get out of the car. Hold on. The man suddenly stopped Lin Yan. Is there anything else? Lin Yan was puzzled. I have a job that suits you. Are you interested? The man stared at Lin Yan intently. Huh? Lin Yan was startled. A job that suited her? Or a job that suited him? What job? Lin Yan blurted out. The man stared at Lin Yan and fell silent for a few seconds. Translate. Forget it. I have a job. Lin Yan shook her head and rejected him. I'll translate for free this time. For free? The man frowned when he heard Lin Yan. His eyes turned cold again. I don't like to take advantage of others. Oh. Lin Yan nodded and extended her hand to the man. Give me the money. The man didn't respond. He got out of the car and retrieved a stack of cash from the trunk. Lin Yan's eyes narrowed when she saw the stack of cash. Was this a joke? That was a lot of money. She had merely translated for him once, yet he was giving her so much money. If it's not enough, I can transfer the money to you, the man replied expressionlessly. Doggy, enough. It's enough. Lin Yan nodded eagerly. Wasn't this money enough? Lin Yan stared at the man in astonishment. Was there something wrong with this man's brain? The reward he gave her was enough to pay a translator who was proficient in 8 languages for 2 months. However, she didn't believe that this man was retarded. She could only say that he was a wastrel who squandered his money like dirt. Can I ask you something? Lin Yan grinned at the man. Speak, the man said. You mentioned that you need an interpreter. How much is the monthly salary? Asked Lin Yan. 10 times, the man said. I'm proficient. No, I know a little about 18 languages. I also know a little about the indigenous language and oracle bone inscriptions. I think I'm very suitable for this job, replied Lin Yan hastily. Lin Yan didn't give the man a chance to speak. She then added, however. I have a job, so translating can only be a part-time job. What do you think? Sure, the man said lightly. Boss, should we sign a contract or something? Asked Lin Yan. Sure. Lin Yan was speechless. Was this a free lunch? Lin Yan added the man on WeChat. The man's profile picture was a black hole, and his nickname was Xiao. Chapter 590. After she left, Lin Yan was elated. The salary of this part-time job was even higher than her current job. Was this considered a blessing in disguise? Besides, this job was easy. She would only be contacted if she needed help. If she didn't, she would be free. She could do 10 jobs like this. Although she had exaggerated when she claimed that she knew 18 languages, she could make up stories. She could learn. When she returned to Cloud Manor, she realized that Pei Yutong wasn't around. He must have gone out to have fun. Before Lin Yan could sit down, Zhao Hongling's phone rang like a death knell. Lin Yan felt guilty when she saw the caller ID. Had Zhao Hongling found out? That couldn't be so fast, right? Just as Lin Yan was contemplating whether she should pick up the call ended. A few seconds later, the urgent bell rang again. Lin Yan had no choice but to answer Zhao Hongling's call. Lin Yan. Did the King of Hell call you? Zhao Hongling's voice was calm. Huh? Lin Yan was startled. You ran 4 red lights in a row. I want to ask you how you felt when you ran a red light, replied Zhao Hongling. Sister Ling, it's not what you think. I have to run a red light. Don't be angry. Listen to me. Lin Yan sounded embarrassed. Stop arguing. Drive the car over now. Moments later, Lin Yan arrived at the traffic department. Zhao Hongling walked out of the building. The car was parked in front of Zhao Hongling, but she didn't seem to notice it. She was still looking into the distance. Lin Yan rolled down the window and glanced at Zhao Hongling. Sister Ling, I'm here. Zhao Hongling looked puzzled. Lin Yan, where's my car? Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan grinned. This is it. Zhao Hongling almost fainted when she scrutinized Lin Yan's car. How could she tell that it was her car? It had been a beautiful sheepdog when she had given it to her. Now, it was a crippled stray dog. The front of the car was dented, and there were scratches all over it. There was also dirt and dust. Did you roll in the mud? Zhao Hongling stared at Lin Yan intently. It's a long story. Lin Yan had no idea how to explain it to Zhao Hongling. If she told her the truth, would Zhao Hongling think that she was out of her mind? Zhao Hongling opened the passenger door and sat down. Let's go. Sister Ling, why don't you drive? Asked Lin Yan. Now that Lin Yan had mentioned driving, Zhao Hongling flared up in anger. Lin Yan felt a chill run down her spine as Zhao Hongling stared at her. She felt a little guilty. Sister Ling, what's wrong? So, do you think I can still drive? Zhao Hongling asked. Lin Yan was startled. Why not? Zhao Hongling glanced at Lin Yan. You ran 4 red lights and exceeded the speed limit. That's 36 points. I still owe you 24 points. My license has been revoked. How am I supposed to drive? Lin Yan was speechless. This was way too awkward. Also, how did it happen? Zhao Hongling frowned. Someone hit me, Lin Yan replied honestly. Through the car's dashcam, Zhao Hongling saw the truth. She had indeed been hit by a luxury SUV. Chapter 591. Although Zhao Hongling didn't know what had happened, it had already happened, so she could only accept it helplessly. Oh right, she retrieved a stack of cash from her bag and handed it to Zhao Hongling. This is? Looking at the stack of cash in front of her, Zhao Hongling was confused. Sister Ling, this is compensation from the person who hit your car. Lin Yan explained to Zhao Hongling. Zhao Hongling was taken aback. So many? Although she had just bought this car not long ago, it didn't cost much. These were indeed a little too much. It's not much. I haven't included the depreciation. Lin Yan replied hastily. Although she earned the money with her translation skills, she was the one who caused Zhao Hongling to suffer heavy losses. Not only did her car become like this, but her driver's license was also revoked. Lin Yan had indeed driven the car, but Zhao Hongling was the owner. Hence, Zhao Hongling had to bear the cost. Zhao Hongling glanced at Lin Yan in astonishment and chuckled. If that's the case, I've profited. Lin Yan was speechless. After parting ways with Zhao Hongling, Lin Yan drove to Cloud Manor while Zhao Hongling hailed a cab. Since Zhao Hongling's license had been revoked, Lin Yan had to take care of the car before she could get a new one. When Lin Yan passed by a building, she couldn't help but be drawn to the huge banner hanging on the building. Virtual Reality Game Development Company. Virtual reality? Lin Yan's interest was piqued. Of course, she knew about virtual reality games. She had played them before. They were very immersive and required a helmet. But what the hell was a research company? Specializing in virtual reality games? Lin Yan had passed this building twice today. The first time she had seen it, it had still been up for sale. How could someone have bought it in the afternoon? Buying an entire building to research virtual reality games, it must be a big company. When she returned to Cloud Manor, Pei Yutong suddenly surrounded her. "Daddy, you bought a car." Pei Yutong stared at the car beside Lin Yan in astonishment. "Why? Can't I?" Lin Yan glanced at him. "No, Daddy. You're so stingy. It doesn't fit your image to buy a car all of a sudden." Pei Yutong replied. Lin Yan was speechless. She buckled. Which eye of this brat's had seen him gouge? Moreover, this car didn't look like a new car. "Daddy, you bought a new car. Treat me to dinner tonight." Pei Yutong grinned at Lin Yan. Lin Yan nodded. "Sure." Pei Yutong grinned. "Daddy, what are you treating me to?" Lin Yan eyed him intently. "I'll treat you to 2 slaps, okay?" Pei Yutong, "It's okay. Daddy, you're so nice to me. I'll treat you when I have time." Pei Yutong looked a little awkward. "Daddy, the competition is about to begin. Daddy, can you join my team? I will reward you handsomely." Pei Yutong gazed at Lin Yan with a sincere expression. Lin Yan, who had wanted to reject him harshly, paused for a moment before she said, "Actually, we're family. You're treating me like an outsider. Money isn't important. How much do you intend to give me?" Chapter 592. Pei Yutong stared at Lin Yan in bewilderment. Money wasn't important? If it wasn't, how could she ask him how much he could give her? "Daddy, I've used all my money to expand my team and hire elite racers. I'm a little short on cash. How about I write you an IOU? Name a price." Pei Yutong grinned. Lin Yan sighed heavily when she heard Pei Yutong. "Money isn't important. I'm worried about your big brother. I'm your big brother's girlfriend, so I can't help him." "No way." The corners of Pei Yutong's mouth twitched when he heard Lin Yan. If he had cash, Lin Yan wouldn't have said that. Did she think that he would go back on his word? Pei Yutong gritted his teeth, looking furious. How had she known that he was going to go back on his word? After she returned to her room, Lin Yan scrolled through her phone excitedly. She wanted to see if there was any gossip about her. She would feel uncomfortable if she didn't get some news about herself. Indeed, she was at the top of the trending list again. The title was eye-catching. It was about Lin Shia and Lin Yan. Lin Yan was engrossed in the content. Lin Shia was beautiful and kind, while Lin Yan was an ingrate who was scheming and scheming. She wanted to snatch away everything that belonged to her sister. The main point of the article was about Yeva's role in Legend. The gist of the article was that Lin Shia had been cast as Yeva. However, Lin Yan had resorted to all sorts of tricks and schemes. In the end, Lin Shia had relented and given up the role to Lin Yan. Such an article couldn't withstand any scrutiny. However, most netizens instinctively chose to believe it when it was published. They didn't even have the ability to think for themselves. Lin Yan couldn't help but chuckle as she read the angry curses and insults. The picky lion replied, "Lin Yan is worse than a beast. If Lin Shia hadn't brought her into the entertainment industry, who knows what kind of person she would be. She is an ungrateful wretch who only knows how to steal her own sister's heart. She is worse than a beast." Old Wang chimed in, "Haha. There are too many people like Lin Yan in real life. It's not strange at all. She's useless and can't bear to see the people around her doing well, especially her own sister. She's thousands of times more outstanding than she is. She can only blame Lin Xia for being too kind. My home is zoo and idiots. These are clearly articles that are meant to stir up the mood of the audience. Don't you have any brains? Don't you have the ability to think? Do you think that Legend of Mir is some small production? It was an international production with a huge cast and crew. Even Pei Nanxiu wouldn't be a threat to them, much less someone like Lin Xia. Yeva was the soul of a legend. How could Lin Xia give her up so easily? If Lin Xia really told the production crew to give up the role, Lin Xia would be fired. The piano artist typed, the commenter above is Lin Yan's army. Don't hog all the money for yourself. Add me into the group and we can earn money together. My keyboard is my home, the commenter above is Lin Yan's army. Given Lin Xia's status, even the production crew has to show her some respect. Otherwise, how could Lin Yan have gotten into the production crew? How could she have gotten the role that belonged to Lin Xia? Chapter 593. After browsing through the comments, Lin Yan used her alternate account to leave a message. Lin Yan is the best. All the best, Lin Yan. Lin Yan closed the post after leaving her comment. Lin Yan was already used to this kind of talk and rhythm. She hoped that one day, the netizens wouldn't criticize her in the same way. Instead, they would scold her in a different way. For example, don't you just have some money? What's so great about that? As for Lin Xia, she wisely chose to remain silent in the face of such a torrent of comments. This was within Lin Yan's expectations. However, if someone posted the conversation between Yeva and the legendary director, Lin Yan didn't think too much about it. After resting for a while, she drove to the He family's training ground. The He family team had been training hard for the past few days. The competition was about to begin, so Mo Shuyun had been on high alert. He didn't dare to slack off. If he didn't win this battle, the He family team might cease to exist. Due to the restructuring of the team, the He family team might have to choose a new team name. Everything would have to be discussed after the competition was over. Lin Yan had been visiting the He family team whenever she had time. Mo Shuyun's training style wasn't bad, so she didn't interfere. She merely cheered him on and gave him some advice. That afternoon, Lin Yan was wearing a straw hat as she stared solemnly at the training ground. She had to admit that Mo Shuyun's training was effective. It was much better than the first day she had been at the training ground. Soon, her phone rang. She had received a message. Xiao typed, "Are you free?" Misty City amid the setting sun typed, "Boss, what's wrong? Do you have a task?" Xiao typed, "I'll send you the location." "I'm going." Misty City amid the setting sun typed, "Got it. I'll go now." She wasn't needed at the training ground, so she bade Mo Shuyun farewell and left in Zhao Hongling's car. Lin Yan finally arrived at her destination an hour and a half later. After parking the car, Lin Yan followed the GPS and walked to a building. Virtual reality game development company Lin Yan stared at the huge billboard in bewilderment. Had she gotten the address wrong? Lin Yan checked the address and confirmed it. This was the place. Xiao said, "Top floor." Lin Yan was astonished when she read the message. Was this really the place? So, that man is also working for this so-called virtual reality game company? However, Lin Yan couldn't understand why such a huge company didn't have a translator. Spending so much money to hire a dabbler like him, with many questions in her mind, Lin Yan entered the elevator and headed to the top floor. Lin Yan had thought that such a big company would have luxurious decorations. However, when she reached the top floor, she realized that she had been wrong. This didn't look like a company at all. She couldn't see anyone at all. There were many tables, chairs, and sofas. There were also some office computers. The huge space looked a little empty. She pushed the glass door open and saw the man sitting on the couch, deep in thought. He's here. Lin Yan had just pushed the door open when the man's voice rang out. Boss, I'm here. Lin Yan strode over to the man. Familiarize yourself with this place. This is our company. The man opened his eyes, revealing a mysterious look in his green eyes. Lin Yan was speechless. Was there a need to get used to this? Chapter 594. Although she couldn't see the end of it, there were tables and chairs everywhere. Boss, where are the other colleagues? Asked Lin Yan curiously. You're the only one, replied the man. Lin Yan stood rooted to the ground in shock. So there were only the two of them in this huge company? And she was the only employee? Lin Yan felt that she needed some time to calm down. She was supposed to be a translator, but this company didn't have any staff related to games. We just bought the building. It's a new company. The man seemed to have read Lin Yan's mind as he answered softly. Lin Yan was speechless. Now, Lin Yan was certain that this man was indeed a tycoon. He didn't even have any employees, yet he had bought the building and opened a virtual reality company. Boss, what does our company do? Lin Yan glanced at the man awkwardly. Games, replied the man. What about games? Lin Yan was curious. Not yet, replied the man. Lin Yan was speechless. Boss, you're amazing. Boss, I'm supposed to be a translator, right? I don't know how to make games, replied Lin Yan. Do you know how to play games? The man glanced at Lin Yan. Lin Yan perked up instantly. Boss, no matter what game it is, I can master it in 3 days and master it in a week. I'm the king in half a month. That's good. Even a translator has to know how to play games, replied the man. Lin Yan replied confidently, Boss, don't worry. I can make playing games my main job. Boss, where's the game? Do you want to try it now? The man replied softly, Nope. Lin Yan was speechless. Have you eaten? The man glanced at Lin Yan. No. Lin Yan instinctively shook her head. Let's sign the contract first before we eat, said the man. Lin Yan was curious. There were only the two of them in the company. Who would be the one cooking? After signing the contract, the man led Lin Yan to the underground garage. Get in. The man opened the door. When Lin Yan got in the car, the man stepped on the accelerator. Lin Yan could feel the car shaking violently. Fortunately, she had put on her seatbelt. Otherwise, she would have been flung out of the car. How was my start? Asked the man. Lin Yan was speechless. She wanted to get out of the car. Boss, you're not bad. You have a strong start. If only I had such driving skills. Lin Yan said something that went against her heart after a moment of silence. If you had such driving skills, you wouldn't have hit my car last time, the man said expressionlessly. Lin Yan was speechless. Where was her 40-meter sword? Yes, boss. I will work hard to learn from you. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. After driving out of the garage, the man actually turned on the car's navigation. The destination was an extremely large hotel. Where was the promised work meal? Why was it a high-class hotel restaurant? Could it be that working in such a rich company, the staff meals were all so luxurious? The blind map is providing you with continuous navigation. The speed limit is 70. The current speed is 70. Please turn right. Lin Yan stared blankly at the man as he turned the steering wheel. She could swear to God that the man was steering to the left. Boss, it's the right one. Lin Yan couldn't help but remind him. The man was slightly puzzled. Isn't this the right one? Lin Yan was speechless. Not only did this man's driving skills suck, but he also couldn't tell the difference between left and right. Chapter 595. Lin Yan, who was sitting in the passenger seat, had a conflicted expression on her face. Lin Yan suddenly realized that she had been wrong. She couldn't even tell the directions. She started to miss Hilifeng. In comparison, Hilifeng's brilliance and beauty were accentuated. The man had completely deviated from the directions of the GPS. About 15 minutes later, the man surveyed his surroundings suspiciously. The man's eyes landed on Lin Yan as he asked softly, "Where are we?" Lin Yan glanced at the man speechlessly. How could he be so thick-skinned as to ask her this question? Wasn't he the one who had taken her to the staff's meal? Bay City, Lin Yan finally replied. The man was silent as he parked the car beside a restaurant. This is the place. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. He had driven the wrong car. Had he made a mistake? The destination had been in Nan City, but he had driven to Bay City instead. How could he say that this was the place? Hence, the man in front of her was terrible at driving and couldn't tell the difference between left and right. He also had a poor sense of direction. Even so, the man had a strange sense of pride and couldn't tolerate others doubting him. After they entered the restaurant, the man led Lin Yan to an elegant private room. "Boss, didn't you say that we were having a staff meal?" Lin Yan glanced at the man curiously. "It's the same," replied the man. Lin Yan was speechless. "Oh yeah, boss. What does our company do?" Lin Yan hurriedly changed the topic. "Games." The man stared at Lin Yan for a long time before he answered. For some reason, Lin Yan doubted the man's words. No matter how she looked at him, he didn't seem like a gamer. Most importantly, it was a gaming company, but the company didn't have any games. She couldn't even see a single person. "Holographic and virtual reality," the man replied softly. Lin Yan was startled by the man's words. Holographic games? Was this for real? Was he joking? Lin Yan had always been interested in holographic games. She had dreamed that one day, she would be able to enter the game world and take a look at it. When she had been overseas, she vaguely remembered playing a holographic game. However, she couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality. The man's head was lowered as he ate, as though he had no intention of responding to Lin Yan. After some time, the man put down his chopsticks and gazed at Lin Yan with his emerald eyes. "Are you interested in virtual reality games?" Lin Yan nodded eagerly. "Of course I'm interested. Who wouldn't be?" Before the man could say anything else, the dishes had already been served. Lin Yan stared blankly at the table of king crabs. "Hi, the dishes are ready. Is there anything else you need?" The waitress smiled at the man and Lin Yan. "That's all," the man said. Lin Yan was speechless. Why was everything about crabs? "Boss, I want some rice." Lin Yan glanced at the man. "Give her a bowl of rice," the man said. Soon, the waiter brought a bowl of rice over. Lin Yan was speechless. Was he a straight man? She wanted to eat rice, but he only asked the waiter to serve a bowl of rice? "Let's eat," the man said when he noticed that Lin Yan hadn't started eating. Lin Yan was speechless. Chapter 596. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ocean, a man was sitting at his desk in his spacious office, studying a stack of documents with a cold expression on his face. "President Pei, the meeting will be at 5 p.m. Cheng Imo lowered his eyes and spoke. "Okay." Pei Yucheng didn't even lift his head as he tapped his fingers rhythmically on the desk. After his subordinate left, Pei Yucheng placed the documents on the desk and sent a text to Lin Yan. "What are you doing?" However, after sending the message, he waited for a long time, but did not receive a reply. The man frowned and put his phone away. A second later, a familiar sense of dizziness swept over him. In the restaurant, Lin Yan studied the bowl of fragrant white rice before her and the king crabs on the table. Suddenly, she felt that eating crabs wasn't a bad idea. It was expensive. Lin Yan ignored the rice and grabbed a crab in front of the man. Before Lin Yan could continue, her body froze. That familiar sense of rejection surged again. F***ck. It can't be. Lin Yan panicked inexplicably. Was that thing here again? But why would it appear now? What frightened Lin Yan the most was that she was having a meal with her boss. Besides, her boss was definitely a feast for the eyes. Would that lecher do anything to her? Would the boss fire her for being harassed by her? However, before Lin Yan could think further, she felt drowsy. After some time, Lin Yan opened her eyes. The eyes of the girl were filled with coldness. She was like a completely different person from before. The man next to her instantly attracted Lin Yan's attention. Lin Yan surveyed her surroundings and realized that she was in a private room in a restaurant. There was only her and the man with green eyes. Lin Yan glanced at the man, and her eyes turned cold. It was as though the temperature in the room had dropped abruptly. You don't look friendly. The man seemed to sense something different about the girl. He picked up a piece of tissue and wiped his hands casually as he gazed at Lin Yan with his green eyes. Really? Lin Yan replied coldly. I don't like it, replied the man. Is it important whether you like it or not? Lin Yan's voice was unusually cold. The man sized up Lin Yan with great interest. There was an obvious change in her mannerisms and aura. It was as though she was a completely different person. Besides, the man could sense Lin Yan's disdain for him. I'm very curious. Why are you hostile to me? Shouldn't employees respect their boss? The man said lightly. Boss, something flickered in Lin Yan's eyes when the man spoke. He didn't know who the man was or why he had addressed Lin Yan as his employee. Have you finished eating? Let's go back to work. The man stood up. Sure. Lin Yan replied nonchalantly, her expression indifferent. The man and Lin Yan walked out of the restaurant. The man opened the door and got in. Then, he turned to Lin Yan and hissed, Are you waiting for me to open the door for you? Lin Yan didn't say anything else. She opened the door and got in. Chapter 597. The man started the engine. Before Lin Yan could fasten her seatbelt, he had already stepped on the accelerator. Almost instantly, Lin Yan shuddered violently and was almost flung out of the car. Lin Yan glared at the man coldly. Your grandmother taught you how to drive. The man, who had been expressionless, suddenly had a frightening glint in his eyes when he heard Lin Yan. You said that my grandmother taught me how to drive. The man's voice was icy cold. Lin Yan's slumbering consciousness had finally woken up. Although she couldn't control her own body, she knew exactly what had happened just now. Big sister, stop it. Lin Yan frantically tried to talk to the consciousness that was controlling her body. This is my boss. I just got a new job. Don't talk back to my boss. Although his driving skills are terrible, he can't stand people speaking the truth. Lin Yan cried out anxiously. Pei Yucheng fell into deep thought. Do you care about his feelings? Asked Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan replied, I care about my salary. Pei Yucheng was speechless. Pei Yucheng asked, Are you short of money? Lin Yan was rendered speechless. This pervert had fed her, drank her water, and even dressed in her clothes. He only knew how to share the fruits of her hard work, but he didn't earn a single cent. In the end, he had the cheek to ask her if she was short of money. Big sister, I'm begging you. Please don't mess with my boss. He changes his attitude faster than flipping the pages of a book. Once he does, he'll become a monster who won't recognize anyone. Please stop. I'll buy you some good food. Lin Yan pleaded softly. I understand, replied Pei Yucheng. Pei Yucheng's eyes landed on the man. I was wrong. The man's expression didn't soften. What did you do wrong? I thought that you were insulting your grandmother when you said that your grandmother taught you how to drive, Pei Yucheng replied softly. At that moment, a cold glint appeared in the man's green eyes. Your driving skills must have killed a lot of people, Pei Yuqing added before the man could speak. Lin Yan wanted to cry as she listened to the conversation between the pervert and her boss. What was wrong with this pervert today? Didn't she say that she couldn't move when she saw a beauty? Had she taken the wrong medicine today? Suddenly, the coldness in the man's eyes disappeared. The corners of his mouth rose slightly, and a strange smile hung on his face. Soon, the car stopped. The man unbuckled his seatbelt, opened the door and got out. Get off. The man glanced at Lin Yan as he spoke. Lin Yan was on the verge of tears. What kind of sin had she committed? Don't get off. You just hurt his pride, so he must be overwhelmed by anger. He wants to use force to deal with us. Lin Yan replied hastily. Force? The corners of Pei Yuqing's mouth curled up. Interesting. He didn't give her a chance to retort. He opened the car door and got out. Lin Yan was speechless. Someone take this evil creature away from my body. This time, not only was she going to lose her job, but she was also likely to suffer a brutal beating. Was it easy for her? To Lin Yan's surprise, the man didn't seem to have any intention of beating her. After she got out of the car, the man sat down and glanced at her. You drive. Chapter 598. Pei Yuqing hadn't expected that the man had asked him to get out of the car just to change the driver. So, you're ordering me around. Pei Yuqing stared at the man in the passenger seat. Is this one of your jobs? Or do you need me to show you the contract? Asked the man. Sister, our contract really includes driving. This is my job. Don't provoke my boss. Do you know how to drive? I can teach you. Lin Yan replied hastily. Pei Yuqing frowned when he heard Lin Yan. He didn't have any interest in helping this man drive. Fairy sister, you've seen my boss's driving skills. He's terrible and he doesn't know his limits. You can drive and show him. Lin Yan added. Pei Yuqing's frown eased when he heard Lin Yan's words. He could accept this suggestion. Pei Yuqing opened the door and sat in the driver's seat. However, this car seemed to be custom-made, so it was slightly different from an ordinary car. Why? Can't you drive well? The man in the passenger seat eyed Lin Yan coldly as a subtle smile appeared on his face. Pei Yuqing didn't say anything as his eyes trailed to the dashboard. Even Lin Yan was dumbfounded by the way the car was being operated. What kind of controls was this? There were no instructions at all. Other than the accelerator, which was the same as an ordinary car, everything else was different. Don't be anxious. Let me study it carefully. Lin Yan pondered this for a moment before she began to talk to Pei Yuqing. Why? Is this how your grandmother taught you to drive? The man lay back comfortably in the passenger seat. The green light had turned green, and the cars behind them had been honking incessantly. Pei Yuqing stepped on the accelerator immediately. To Lin Yan's surprise, the car erupted with so much power that it almost flung her and the boss out of the car. Oh, I was wrong. I don't think your grandmother taught you to drive like this. The man returned Pei Yuqing's words to him. Pei Yuqing glanced at the man coldly. That was why he had asked her to drive, so that he could retaliate. Before Pei Yuqing could speak, someone knocked on the window. What Lin Yan hadn't expected was that Pei Yutong would be standing next to her. Oh my god, oh my god. Pei Yutong stared at Lin Yan in disbelief. Look. What did I see? My eyes. My universe diamond eyes. The blind map will continue to guide you. Suddenly, the voice of the car navigation system sounded. Pei Yutong glanced at the GPS before he glanced at Lin Yan. Then, he turned to the man beside him. Daddy, I saw you in the restaurant just now. I didn't expect you to be flirting with this man. Pei Yutong stared at Lin Yan with a pained expression. You. Are you worthy of me? Are you worthy of my big brother? My big brother is working so hard overseas, and yet you're dating this wild man? You're even arguing with him about your driving skills and flirting with him. I can't stand it. Pei Yutang sighed and shook his head repeatedly. Pei Yucheng was speechless. Lin Yan was speechless. Chapter 599. Suddenly, Lin Yan sensed something. Could this be a new trick of the pervert? He was deliberately provoking his boss so that he would develop a strong interest in her. The more Lin Yan thought about it, the more she felt that it was possible. Come to think of it, the way the two of them mocked each other just now was a little like flirting. No way. I can't stand this. I want to tell my big brother that you are dating a man and flirting with him. Pei Yutang whipped out his phone furiously. Lin Yan watched Pei Yutang calmly, unmoved. Lin Yan was speechless. She hadn't expected this kid to be so loyal to his big brother. Don't look at me like that. I will tell my big brother. Pei Yutang gritted his teeth. Unless you agree to help my team compete for free. Lin Yan was speechless. She had been wrong. She shouldn't have accused Pei Yutang of being loyal to his big brother. Your team. Pei Yucheng, who had been silent all this while, suddenly spoke up. Yeah, my team. Pei Yutang nodded eagerly. As long as you help me decide on the competition rules, I will turn a blind eye to what you did today. Oh, didn't you tell your big brother? Asked Pei Yucheng. As long as you help me with the competition, I won't say a word. As the saying goes, how can a man not be stabbed when he's roaming the world? Pei Yutang smiled faintly. Pei Yucheng fell into deep thought. Aren't your big brother restricting your finances? Can you still maintain your team? Hee hee. Although my big brother restricts my finances, I have a secret stash of money. Pei Yutang grinned. Aren't you afraid that your big brother will find out? Asked Pei Yucheng. Are you kidding me? Why would I be afraid? I'm not afraid of anything. If I want to run a team, who can stop me? Even if my big brother finds out, what can he do to me? Pei Yutang looked arrogant. Lin Yan was speechless. She had to admit that this kid was really good at bragging. If Pei Yucheng had been next to him, he would have fallen to his knees. Very good. Pei Yucheng retracted his gaze from Pei Yutang. I hope you can continue being so stubborn. Pei Yucheng didn't give Pei Yutang a chance to speak. He stepped on the accelerator and left Pei Yutang standing there. Pei Yutang was dumbfounded as he watched Lin Yan drive away. Big sister-in-law, Dad. Are you going to help me in the ranking match or not? If you don't agree, I'm going to tell my big brother. I recorded it. The man in the vice seat wasn't interested in Pei Yutang at all. Moments later, she suddenly realized that she had regained control of her body. Are you still there? Lin Yan gripped the steering wheel tightly as she asked cautiously. However, there was no longer any response. Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief. That damned pervert was finally gone. Lin Yan glanced at the man and grinned at him. Boss. Look. My driving skills can't compare to yours. Hearing that, the man sneered, my grandmother taught me how to drive. Lin Yan was speechless. This man was too vengeful. How could she take the blame for that pervert's death? She couldn't stand it. Lin Yan smiled awkwardly and didn't dare say anything else, for fear of angering her boss. Soon, Lin Yan parked the car in the parking lot and followed the man back to the office. Boss, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Lin Yan glanced at the man as she spoke softly. There's no hurry. The man opened his green eyes. I think you've changed again. Huh? Lin Yan was puzzled. I admired the way you were earlier, replied the man. Lin Yan was speechless. No way. How could he admire her when she had insulted him? Was this man a masochist? Chapter 600. However, even though the pervert had sounded unfriendly and infuriated her boss, she realized that he had been flirting with her. Indeed, how could that pervert let her boss off? Pei Yutong had said that they had been flirting, and there was evidence to back it up. I'll have to trouble you to purchase office supplies and make the company look like a company. The man glanced at Lin Yan. Lin Yan stood rooted to the ground in shock. Using office supplies? Make the company look like a company? How could that be considered purchasing office supplies? It should be called renovating the place. Before Lin Yan could reject him, the man grinned. Do you want to play a game? Instantly, Lin Yan forgot about the renovations. She was completely captivated by the game that the man was talking about. Boss, do you need a champion to play with you? The price is fair. If you lose, it's free. If you win, you have to pay. Lin Yan replied to the man. You must have misunderstood. The man shook his head. I'm talking about virtual reality games. Huh? Lin Yan was startled. Of course. Where is it? Follow me. Lin Yan rose from the couch and draped her coat over her shoulder. Then, she strode forward. Lin Yan followed him. A moment later, the man opened the door to another room in the office. There were all sorts of high-tech coffins in the room. Coffin? Lin Yan was dumbfounded. The man glanced at Lin Yan. It's called a gaming pod. Gaming pod? This was the first time Lin Yan had heard of such a term. You can think of it as a game console where your mind is connected to the game. The man explained to Lin Yan, once you enter the pod, you will see a helmet. Once you put it on, it will connect to your nervous system and allow you to enter a virtual game world, the man explained. Isn't this a virtual reality game? Lin Yan was shocked. She had been to the gaming world and had played so many games that she could circle the globe twice. However, she still couldn't resist the mysterious charm of virtual reality games. Imagine entering the game world with your mind. The simulation would be 100% realistic. You would be able to fly and summon the wind and rain. What would that mean? Lin Yan had once heard that virtual reality games had been invented overseas. However, due to various reasons, they hadn't been popularized. Go in and try. The man glanced at Lin Yan. Although Lin Yan was very interested, she had never come into contact with it before, so she had her doubts. The man opened the gaming cabin so that Lin Yan could take off her shoes and lie down. He helped Lin Yan put on the helmet. After she put on the helmet, Lin Yan felt her scalp go numb. She was shocked by what she saw. At this moment, she was no longer in the game cabin. In front of her was a paradise with verdant hills and clear waters. In fact, Lin Yan realized that there was a huge green dragon soaring in the distant blue sky. CK. Lin Yan was utterly shocked by the sight before her. She wasn't dreaming, right? Instinctively, Lin Yan raised her hand to slap herself. However, Lin Yan realized, where the hell was her hand? She actually had no hands. Not only did it have no hands, but it also had no body. Welcome back. I have summoned the character you created. A faint voice rang in Lin Yan's head. Chapter 601. Lin Yan scanned her surroundings in astonishment. However, she didn't see a single person. It can't be. Lin Yan was flabbergasted. Was this the legendary virtual reality game? Although Lin Yan knew about the technology, she was still in disbelief when she experienced it for the first time. This wasn't much different from reality. In fact, Lin Yan, who was in the game, felt that this was reality. Before Lin Yan could mull over this, a lady descended on a cloud and landed beside her. Lin Yan studied the lady. She was dressed in an ancient style, and she had long black hair that reached her waist. There was a red moon between her eyebrows. Please select your character to enter the game. The game character has been saved for you. The ethereal voice rang out once more. Lin Yan, who was shocked, couldn't help but study the lady next to her. Was this a game character? Wasn't this too realistic? What was his boss's background? Did he really develop this holographic game? If this game was popularized, Lin Yan believed that players all over the world would go crazy over it. Please enter the game. The system notification rang out. This fairy-like lady was a character that she had created. However, this was clearly her first time entering a virtual reality game. She hadn't even had the chance to enter the game yet. How could she have created a character? Lin Yan didn't think too much about it. She swiftly clicked on the colorful button next to her. You have deleted your character. You can't start the game. You can create a new character and start a new level. The system notification rang out again before Lin Yan could think any further. Lin Yan stood rooted to the ground in shock when she heard the system notification. When had she deleted her character? Lin Yan took a closer look and couldn't help but sigh. There was indeed a delete button on the left side of the start button. The start button was connected to the delete button. This game is too much of a scam, Lin Yan thought to herself. Fortunately, there was a character on the right side of the screen that could be restored. Lin Yan didn't think too much about it and followed the system notification. In the end, she realized that the deleted character couldn't be restored within a month. If she wanted to enter the game, she had to create a new character. Lin Yan had no choice but to create a new character. To Lin Yan's astonishment, she realized that she could create a character based on her preferences in the game. Men, women, children, tall, skinny, and petite could all be controlled according to her will. Moreover, he could pinch faces. Whether they were ugly or beautiful, it all depended on his own hands. Lin Yan had created 3 female characters in one go, and each of them was extremely beautiful. If they were in real life, who knew how many men would fall for them? Lin Yan's eyes darted around as she tried to think of an alternative character. Gender, male, weight, 150 kg, power, immense. Half an hour later, Lin Yan stared at the character that she had created and nodded in satisfaction. It was hard to tell if he was a human or a beast man from his appearance and figure. Although it looked a little illegal, its squinting eyes were inexplicably cute. Lin Yan gave the fat man a game ID. Surname, Lin. Name, Get Rich. Lin Yan couldn't help but sigh. She could play this virtual game for months. Who had invented this game? That person must be a genius. Chapter 602. After the plump male character was created, Lin Yan began to focus on creating a character that belonged to her. She wanted to create a character that would look like her. However, before Lin Yan could continue, the system's notification rang out. Your character creation time has expired. The system will automatically match you with your character. Huh? Lin Yan was dumbfounded when she heard the system notification. She hadn't created a character that she liked. Why was the system giving her a choice? A second later, Lin Yan felt as though the world was spinning and her head was spinning. Not long after, the light in the surroundings dimmed, and the sound of a woman crying could be heard. This is, Lin Yan scanned her surroundings curiously. She was in a room that had been decorated meticulously. It looked like a wedding room in ancient times. There was an ancient bronze mirror in front of her. Instinctively, Lin Yan studied it. Lin Yan froze on the spot as she studied the bronze mirror. The man that appeared in the mirror was the last character that she had created in the game interface. Get Rich Lin. At this moment, she was wearing a red groom's outfit and had a wretched smile on her face. On the other side, there was a wedding bed. A graceful girl was sitting on the bed, covering her face and crying. F***ck, Lin Yan glanced at the girl. However, when Lin Yan opened her mouth, her voice sounded like a man's roar. She was startled. My voice is so F***king awful. Get Rich Lin, you bastard. In order to possess my body, you actually killed my father. You relied on your family's wealth to act like a tyrant in this city. You abducted women and committed countless evil deeds. Don't think that just because you have some stinking money, you can really do whatever you want. You're lawless. Suddenly, the beautiful lady on the bed pointed at Lin Yan and scolded her. Lin Yan was dumbfounded by his words. What kind of character was this? Millions of dollars, that seemed pretty good. However, what did she mean by abducting women and committing countless evil deeds? Get rich, Lin, even if you can obtain my body, you won't be able to obtain my heart. My senior brother has already been accepted as a disciple by an expert. He will definitely come to avenge my father. The girl was still weeping. Lin Yan was speechless. She really loved this game. It was too realistic. The beautiful girl in front of him should be an NPC in the game. Lin Yan walked over to the bed and sat down curiously. Get rich, Lin, what are you doing? The girl was horrified. So intelligent? Lin Yan pinched the girl's cheek. This touch was 2F** King real. Just as Lin Yan was about to study it, the door was kicked open and a man and a woman rushed in. The two old men were dressed extravagantly and looked very similar to Lin Yan's character. Get rich, Lin. Get rich, my son, said the old man expressionlessly. How could such a lowly, ordinary woman be worthy of you? Hurry up and throw her into the dungeon. She's so ugly. How could she be worthy of you? Hurry up and throw her into the dungeon. The old woman chimed in. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. This girl was ugly? Did they have some misunderstanding about ugliness? Chapter 603. However, Lin Yan wasn't going to explain anything to the two NPCs. She had probably set up the game beforehand. Besides, Lin Yan had no intention of throwing the girl into the dungeon. Seducing a girl and acting like a tyrant wasn't in line with her character. It would have been fine if it were any other game, but in a virtual reality game like this, the sense of immersion was just too strong. Her consciousness had completely entered the game world. It could be understood that she had completely merged with the game characters in the game world. Therefore, she would never do anything like forcibly abducting women, forcing them into prostitution, or being a tyrant. Son, throw this girl into the dungeon and I will give you 1,000 taels of gold, the old man suddenly said to Lin Yan. Lin Yan hurriedly yelled, Guards! Throw this lady into the dungeon. Immediately, a few expressionless guards walked over and dragged the female character away. Get rich, Lin, you're a tyrant and you've committed all sorts of evil deeds. You killed my father. My senior has been taken in as a disciple by an expert. He won't let you off. The female character continued to yell. After the female character was dragged away, the old man's eyes landed on Lin Yan and he couldn't help but nod. Very good. You are indeed my son. My son is handsome and handsome. How could you marry such an ugly girl? Here, I will give you 1,000 taels of gold. The old man reached into his pocket and took out a banknote for Lin Yan. Soon, the old man and the lady left the room. Lin Yan muttered, this game is so interesting. Based on her understanding of the game, Lin Yan believed that this 1,000 taels of gold was a gift from the system to the players. There weren't any missions in this game world. After the game started, the system would automatically create a character and background for the players. After that, the players would have to explore everything on their own. After studying it for a while, Lin Yan realized that this was a holographic virtual world with a high degree of freedom. In this world, you could do anything you wanted. Furthermore, the NPCs were set to have high intelligence and could interact well with the players. Lin Yan explored her home for a long time. Her home was a huge mansion. She reckoned that her parents' settings had to be rich and powerful, while her parents' settings were that of a spoiled brat. Lin Yan was very curious. After exploring the game for a long time, she still had no idea what the main plot of the game was. She didn't even know what kind of game world it was. The only thing she knew was that the game was set in ancient times. In order to explore the game better, Lin Yan left the mansion and walked around the city with her pregnant belly. Young master, get rich Lin, the world is dangerous. You should choose a weapon that suits you. Before long, a middle-aged man stopped Lin Yan and pointed at the weapons shop behind him. Lin Yan followed the middle-aged man into the armory. There was a dazzling array of weapons in the shop, including swords, spears, staffs, and sticks. Young Master Lin, this harrow suits your temperament. The middle-aged man handed the harrow to Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. The 9-pronged rake, young master, get rich Lin, that's 1,000 gold coins. Please pay up. The middle-aged man stared at Lin Yan. Lin Yan fell into deep thought. There was a high degree of freedom in this game. Could she refuse to pay? Moreover, his character in the game should also be a domineering guy. Chapter 604. Lin Yan pondered this for a moment before she glanced at the middle-aged man with the harrow in her hand. She asked tentatively, "Can I not pay?" The NPC's expression changed instantly. Young master, get rich Lin, this is a small business. I don't cheat anyone and I don't accept credit. Lin Yan grinned and casually slapped the middle-aged man's face. After slapping him, Lin Yan sneered coldly. Pfft. I'm a tyrant who doesn't shrink from any crime. I've abducted women, killed people, and committed arson. There's nothing I wouldn't do. Why don't you find out who I, get rich Lin, am? How dare you ask me for money? Lin Yan realized that the expression on the NPC's face had changed several times. Even this NPC was a drama queen. Lin Yan was pleasantly surprised to discover that she could not only play games in this game world, but she could also hone her acting skills. She could act freely with these NPCs without any awkwardness. Lin Yan had made up her mind that she had to play the role that the system had designed for her. What a joke. She was supposed to be a tyrant. How could a tyrant have to pay to buy things? She would slap him and use the 9-toothed rake in her hand. Lin. Get rich Lin, you've been a tyrant in the city and you've committed all sorts of evil deeds. You will suffer retribution. The NPC bellowed at Lin Yan in exasperation. Lin Yan sneered coldly. You must be tired of living. Take my 9-toothed rake. Lin Yan gripped the 9-pronged rake tightly and was about to attack the NPC. However, Lin Yan retracted her hand quickly. Based on Lin Yan's gaming experience, she might be punished if she killed an NPC. I'll spare your life today. Lin Yan swaggered out of the armory with the 9-toothed rake in her hand. Soon, Lin Yan walked into another armor shop. Lin Yan was very pleased with the armor she was wearing. Young master, get rich Lin, 3,500 gold coins. The NPC grinned. Lin Yan pursed her lips and gave the NPC a tight slap. How dare you? Don't you know that I'm a tyrant? How dare you ask me for money? How many brains do you have? Lin Yan bellowed at the NPC who had fallen to the ground after she had slapped him. This kind of feeling, it was really too good, okay? How could a game have such a high degree of freedom? Of course, even though it was real, she didn't feel guilty facing these NPCs. Besides, the system had arranged this for her. It had nothing to do with her. In the end, almost all the shops in the city had been destroyed by Lin Yan. Weapons, armor, elixirs, and elixirs. Lin Yan would simply take them and leave. If the NPCs dared to stop her, she would slap them in the face. How could she be a freeloader? When Lin Yan walked out of the last shop, a dozen handsome young men surrounded her. This person is Get Rich Lin, the one who took my junior sister by force. This person is Get Rich Lin, the one who stole my uncle's weapon. This person is Get Rich Lin, the one who stole my friend's armor. Lin Yan was dumbfounded. What the hell was going on? We are disciples of the Sky Star sect. We came down the mountain to get rid of you. So, because of her tyrannical behavior, taking things without paying, she had offended some Bulsh *T sect disciple? Why did they want to get rid of her? Chapter 605. Come on, you pieces of trash. I'll beat you to death. Lin Yan's face was filled with disdain. What kind of joke was this? Her character, Get Rich Lin, was extremely powerful. Why would she be afraid of these small fries? Thief! How dare you? Surrender now. One of the young men bellowed angrily. Eat my rake. Lin Yan had completely let go of herself. She wielded the nine-toothed rake and smashed it at one of the young men. Although the character that Lin Yan had created was extremely fat, it was extremely powerful. Wielding the nine-toothed rake was like a toy to her. Humph. You must have a death wish. One of the young men unsheathed his sword and slashed at Lin Yan. Lin Yan even saw an invisible sword aura on the young man's sharp sword. What game am I playing? Wuxia? Fantasy? Myth? Lin Yan was dumbfounded when she saw the sword aura. Why didn't she have any fancy weapons when she wielded her nine-toothed rake? It wasn't fair. Soon, the sword aura shattered Lin Yan's armor. Before Lin Yan could do anything, a piercing pain shot through her, making her shudder. F***ck. It can't be. Lin Yan was shocked and in disbelief. Wasn't this a game? Why did she feel so much pain when she was slashed by a character in the game? This was way too painful. It felt as though she had really been slashed by a sword. After fighting for some time, Lin Yan realized that she was no match for these NPCs at all. She wouldn't even qualify to fight them one-on-one, let alone a dozen of them. These NPCs knew how to use strange techniques like sword aura and supernatural powers. Other than her nine-toothed rake, she had nothing else. Besides, every time Lin Yan was injured, the pain was so real. Who could stand it? Lin Yan, who had an idea, chose to exit the game. However, the system replied, you can't exit the game during a battle. Lin Yan was speechless. F***ck. This game was too much of a cheat. She couldn't exit the game during a battle. Did she have to wait until she was killed? Wait. At the same time, she took out the notes that her father had given her in the game. Everyone, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. Take it and distribute it. The youth said, Thief, how dare you insult our sex disciple? Lin Yan was speechless. The young man shouted, Hand over your life. F***ck, even money can't buy him? Spare me. Lin Yan clutched the harrow tightly and turned to flee. However, his speed was not very fast. Not long after, he was surrounded by a dozen young men. After a few seconds, Lin Yan was hacked to death. Success and failure are common in military affairs. Great hero, start over again. Lin Yan swore that she would never be a tyrant again. It was too painful. When Lin Yan opened her eyes, she had quit the game. Soon, the gaming cabin opened. Was it fun? The man's green eyes gazed at Lin Yan, who had just crawled out of the gaming cabin. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. It was fun, but it was too painful to be beaten up. Chapter 606. The man's green eyes scanned Lin Yan discreetly before he grinned. Of course not. Boss, this game is too realistic. And this gaming pod. When I was beaten up by the NPCs, the pain was so real. Lin Yan gazed at the man. She hadn't had enough of this virtual reality game. The man nodded and explained to Lin Yan, the function of the gaming pod is to help the player enter a deep sleep. The helmet is connected to the brain and nervous system. You can think of it as your spirit entering the game world, and your perception of the game is 100%. Naturally, you will feel pain. Lin Yan stared at the man in confusion. She didn't understand. However, when she entered the virtual game world, there wasn't much difference between the real world and the virtual world. That was what surprised and attracted her the most. The game reflects reality. The man glanced at Lin Yen with a faint smile. The game reflects reality? Lin Yen couldn't help but laugh at the man's words. How could the game reflect reality? How could she be as shameless as she was in the game in real life? Naturally, Lin Yen didn't take the man's words to heart. Oh yeah. Suddenly, Lin Yen seemed to recall something. Boss, do I need to register an account for this virtual reality game? There's no need. The man glanced at Lin Yen and replied softly, the gaming cabin and helmet will bind and identify the player's consciousness. You can assume that the moment you enter the game, your account will be bound to you. Everything in your account will belong to you. Lin Yen, who was startled by the man's words, replied in surprise, are you serious? When I entered the game, I already had a character. The system even told me to welcome you back and summon the character I had created. The man's green eyes gleamed as he studied Lin Yen, who looked puzzled. After some time, the man replied, perhaps it's a bug. Oh, this was the first time Lin Yen had encountered such a realistic virtual reality game. She didn't understand this game at all, so she could only assume that it was a bug. Boss, this game is so fun and magical. Can I continue? Lin Yen glanced at the gaming cabin, eager to try again. Previously in the game, she was completely tricked by the game system. It made her become a troublemaker and a domineering character. Otherwise, how could she have been hunted down by the NPCs in the game? Rest. The man glanced at Lin Yen. You've already died once in the game. You need to rest. This isn't a good time to continue. Lin Yen was speechless, although the man's words were very mysterious. In reality, he was full of energy and vigor. He was completely fine, so what did he need to rest for? Moreover, the one who died was a character in the game, not her. It would be great if more people could play this game together. Lin Yen couldn't help but sigh. The game was fun and exciting, but after entering the game, they could only interact with NPCs. It felt like something was missing. If there were many players, you might have some misunderstandings about this game. The man's emerald eyes studied Lin Yen. There are many players in the game. Chapter 607. Huh? Lin Yan's expression changed slightly when she heard the man. Many players? Why hadn't she seen any of them? Besides, this kind of game shouldn't have been popular yet. If it had failed, the whole world would have known about it. Why would there be so many players? There are many things you don't know. Don't be too curious. You will find out in the future. The man smiled. If the man hadn't said that, Lin Yen wouldn't have been so curious. However, when she heard him, her curiosity was piqued. Could there be a secret to this game? He even told her not to be too curious. Didn't he know that other than cats and roe deer, women were the most likely to be in a good mood? The more the man refused to let Lin Yen probe, the more she wanted to get to the bottom of it. Boss, hero. Tell me. Lin Yen pestered the man. The man pinched his eyebrows and frowned at Lin Yen. You're very curious. Lin Yen grinned. I'm trying to understand the company's business in advance so that I can serve the company better in the future. What do you want to know? The man seemed to have relented. Players. Lin Yen blurted out anxiously. Where are the players? All I met were NPCs. I didn't see a single player. If I had met players earlier, I wouldn't have died. You wouldn't have died? Why? Asked the man. I could have paid the players to beat the NPCs for me, replied Lin Yen matter-of-factly. The man fell into deep thought. After some time, he glanced at Lin Yen. This game is different from what you know. Lin Yen glanced at the man. Of course it was different. She didn't need him to explain. She had been in the gaming industry for so many years. She had mastered a game in a day, mastered it in 3 days, and been a king in half a month. However, she had never fallen in love with a game at first sight. She could play this virtual reality game for the rest of her life. Ordinary players will hide themselves. They might be NPCs. If they don't tell you, you won't know, the man explained to Lin Yan. Huh? Hide? Why? Lin Yan was puzzled. Because it's dangerous, replied the man. Lin Yan was speechless. After talking for a long time, she still couldn't understand. It was just a game. What was so dangerous about it? And some high-level players have their own factions. They're almost the most dangerous existences in the game, the man continued. So, it's not a bad thing to not run into players. However, when Lin Yan probed further, the man remained tight-lipped and didn't reveal a single word. Lin Yan could only give up. Anyway, there were still many opportunities in the future. Even if the man didn't say it, she was confident that she could figure it out. After she returned to Cloud Manor, Lin Yan lay on the couch and whipped out her phone. She typed in the words virtual reality game. However, she didn't find anything useful. Lin Yan couldn't help but be puzzled. Even if it hadn't been popularized, there should be some information about it, so, what was going on? Chapter 608. Lin Yan didn't have time to mull over this. She had to rush to work. After the news of her joining Legend had been confirmed, Sister Ling had started to give her more jobs. Although a small artist like her wouldn't amount to much in a place like Summit Entertainment, her treatment was much better than before. Furthermore, she had unexpectedly landed the role of Yeva, which had helped to maintain the popularity of meeting one's match. Hence, the quality of her jobs and her income were much higher than before. Hence, Lin Yan was feeling rather happy. She had saved up a lot of money recently, and she had a new part-time job as a translator. She had donated some money and left some for her mother, so she still had some left. After she finished her work, Lin Yan decided to buy a car. She wouldn't be able to touch Sister Ling's car now. Given Lin Yan's personality, she wouldn't buy a new car. In the end, she used her bargaining skills and bought a vintage car at a very low price. She knew everything about the car, so the seller thought that she was here to cause trouble. In the end, he sent her off as though she was an ancestor. After that, Lin Yan spent a lot of money to buy spare parts and reassembled the car. In the end, she got a shabby, old, silver car with a new core became Lin Yan's car. Modifying cars was addictive. In the end, Lin Yan had to stop because she was stingy and she didn't have enough money. After she was done, Lin Yan happily drove her new car home. However, she received an unexpected call. Lin Yan stared at the name on the screen suspiciously, Lin Yuetong. She couldn't remember how long it had been since her father had contacted her. Why would he call her today? She was curious as to why he was looking for her. Was it because she had stolen Lin Shia's role that her father was here to reprimand her? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up as she put on her Bluetooth earpiece and answered the call. Before Lin Yan could speak, Lin Yuetong's deep voice rang out. Xiaoyan, come to Slyan Club in half an hour. Slyan Club? That was the most luxurious private club in the capital city. The entrance fee alone cost tens of millions of yuan. There was a limit to the number of people who could enter, and the vetting process was strict. Lin Yan grinned. Sorry, President Lin. I'm not qualified to enter such a place. Lin Yuetong seemed a little impatient, but he still softened his tone. When you reach the door, someone will bring you in. I have something to tell you. Remember to tidy yourself up before coming here. You can only enter here in formal attire. Lin Yuetong had something to tell her, and he was speaking in such a serious manner. This was truly a rare occurrence. Lin Yan's curiosity was piqued. Lin Yan had told Boss Xiao that she was curious, which was true. Lin Yuetong's strange call had successfully piqued her interest. What's more, this was the Slyan Club. The cost of a meal was astronomical. Why wouldn't they go if they could get a free meal? Lin Yan glanced at her outfit. She had a job today, so she had put on makeup and styled her hair. She was dressed formally, so she didn't even need to put on makeup. Chapter 609. At Slyan Club, Lin Yan sent Lin Yuetong a text message when she arrived. Moments later, a waiter approached her. Are you Miss Lin Yan? Yes, it's me. The waiter glanced at the old, battered car behind Lin Yan, looking as though he was at a loss for words. Sure, Miss Lin. Please follow me. However, due to his strict training, the waiter didn't bat an eyelid as he politely led her into the club. Lin Yan took the elevator to the top floor and stopped in front of a VIP room. The private room was very luxurious, with all kinds of entertainment facilities. A group of guests who looked like celebrities and bosses were drinking and chatting. A slightly plump man who looked to be in his 50s was holding a microphone and singing in a drunken manner. His singing was out of tune, and it was a tragic sight to behold. However, the audience was cheering for him. Lin Yan scanned the room casually and saw many big shots in the entertainment industry that she had seen on TV. It seemed like this dinner was going to be a high-class event. Then, she spotted Pei Nanshu sitting on the couch nearby. Pei Nanshu was dressed casually as he sat there casually. His handsome face was beaming like a spring breeze, and the entire room seemed to sparkle with life. Lin Yan thought that her eyes were playing tricks on her. She rubbed her eyes and took a closer look. It was really Pei Nanshu. The president of Summit Entertainment, Chu Jiao, was sitting beside him. The two of them were chatting with a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man looked familiar as well. He seemed to be a famous director. To think that she would see Pei Nanshu at this dinner. What a coincidence. Pei Nanshu had rarely stayed in the villa. Ever since Pei Yuqing had gone on a business trip, he had never returned. Lin Yan hadn't seen him in days. Who would have thought that she would bump into him here? This trip hadn't been in vain. Before Lin Yan could take a second look at him, Lin Yuetong walked over to her. Why did you take so long? Lin Yuetong frowned as he glanced at Lin Yan. Ever since she had been scolded by Sister Ling, she had become as steady as a dog. Naturally, she had slowed down. Lin Yan cut to the chase. Why are you looking for me? Lin Yuetong scrutinized Lin Yan's attire and realized that she was dressed decently. Come with me. Let me introduce you to someone. He led Lin Yan to the owner who was singing. Pei Nanshu seemed to have noticed Lin Yan out of the corner of his eye. He was surprised to see her here. Lin Yuetong, if he remembered correctly, he was Lin Yan's father. Pei Nanshu's face darkened as he watched Lin Yuetong lead Lin Yan to Yang Baixiong. Hey, Nanshu, isn't this your secret girlfriend who has a mistress in her house? Your father-in-law seems to be up to no good by calling her over. Chu Jiao followed Pei Nanshu's gaze and leaned in to watch the commotion. He whispered into Pei Nanshu's ear. Pei Nanshu coughed and replied helplessly, President Chu, I've told you many times that my relationship with Miss Lin isn't what you think it is. Chu Jiao pursed his lips. If it isn't what I think it is, then are you really related? I'd be a fool to believe you. Pei Nanshu was speechless. But that was the truth, Chu Jiao smirked. Besides, do you think I'm blind? The look in your eyes changed the moment this girl appeared. Look at how nervous you are. How could this be a normal relationship? Chapter 610. Pei Nanshu was speechless. He hadn't said that his relationship with Lin Yan was ordinary. In fact, it wasn't. If word got out, it would shock the entire entertainment industry. Pei Nanshu couldn't be bothered to explain himself. He continued to stare at Lin Yan, afraid that something would go awry. He had heard about the relationship between Lin Yan and her father. How could Lin Yuetong be so kind as to bring Lin Yan to a dinner like this? Lin Yuetong must have some ulterior motives for inviting Lin Yan here today, just as Chu Jiao had said. Lin Yuetong strode over to Yang Baixiong and said, "Xiaoyan, come over here. This is President Yang, the boss of Hengda International Media." Lin Yan raised an eyebrow. The boss of Hengda International Media. Yang Baixiong? He was a famous name in the industry. Why had Lin Yuetong invited Lin Shia to such a prestigious banquet? He had even introduced Yang Baixiong to her. Why was Lin Yuetong so eager to please her? What was he trying to do? Yang Baixiong was standing there with a glass of wine in his hand. He didn't even glance at Lin Yan. Lin Yuetong didn't seem to mind as he continued to introduce Lin Yan. "President Yang, this is my eldest daughter, Lin Yan." Yang Baixiong glanced at Lin Yan casually. The man's eyes, which had been cloudy and arrogant at first, lit up when he saw Lin Yan's face. A glint flashed across his eyes. Yang Baixiong's interest was piqued. "I thought that Shia was pretty enough. I didn't expect you to have such a beautiful daughter." Lin Yuetong heaved a sigh of relief when he noticed Yang Baixiong's change in attitude. "President Yang, you flatter me. My eldest daughter can't be compared to Shia. She's a good-for-nothing. I hope that you can give her some pointers." Yang Baixiong studied Lin Yan impudently as he smirked. "I don't give pointers to anyone." Lin Yuetong chuckled. "Huh, that's true. But who knows, maybe we'll be a family in the future." Lin Yan raised an eyebrow at his words. "Family? What the hell?" Lin Yan finally understood what was going on. How was this a Hongmen banquet? It was a matchmaking party. Yang Baixiong was older than Lin Yuetong. He had been divorced several times and had 6 sons and 3 daughters. His youngest daughter was probably about the same age as her. It was said that he also liked domestic violence. He had beaten several of his wives until they were disabled. The recently divorced one almost died. Yang Baixiong spent a lot of money to suppress the matter. What Lin Yuetong had done today was really ingenious. He hadn't cared about her for so many years, yet he had called her over for a blind date out of the blue and introduced her to a domestic abuser who was old enough to be her father. This sudden, fatherly love really made her feel flattered. Yang Baixiong didn't comment as he studied Lin Yan carefully. "Lin Yan. Miss Lin, right?" "Hee, Miss Lin has been quite popular recently. I've heard a little about it." Chapter 6:11. Lin Yuetong could tell what Yang Baixiong was implying. Lin Yan had a bad reputation in the industry and her relationships were messy. Lin Yuetong shot Lin Yan a displeased look before he turned to Yang Baixiong with a smile. "President Yang, I understand what you mean. My daughter has been naughty and mischievous, but don't worry. After she marries you, she will quit her job in the entertainment industry. She will take care of her husband and children and be a full-time wife." The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. She had been wrong. This wasn't a blind date. He was forcing her to marry someone. He hadn't even asked her before deciding on her marriage. Yang Baixiong looked nonchalant when he heard Lin Yuetong's words. "Miss Lin, how old are you? Which university did you graduate from?" Lin Yuetong's expression turned awkward once more. Yang Baixiong sneered, "If I remember correctly, your daughter graduated from high school. She didn't even attend university, right? A mother's genes will directly affect the next generation." Lin Yan gasped in amazement. The next generation, at this age, he already had sons and daughters, illegitimate sons and daughters. Yet, he still wanted to have more children. "My daughter has been living with her mother ever since I divorced her. She has been spoiled by her mother. I'm afraid I will have to trouble you to teach her in the future." Lin Yuetong had pushed all the blame to Lin Yan's mother. "As long as she's obedient, I can teach her. However, her mother." Yang Baixiong looked disdainful. "After Miss Lin marries, she will have to sever all ties with her mother. President Lin, I don't mean to criticize you, but what kind of daughter can a fickle woman like her produce? The moment Yang Baixiong's voice fell, Lin Yan's lazy, nonchalant expression changed. Lin Yuetong chimed in eagerly. President Yang, you're right. After Xiaoyan marries, I won't allow her to have any contact with her mother. Don't worry, ha. Lin Yan chuckled softly. What are you laughing at? Lin Yuetong was unhappy with her flippant attitude. I'm laughing at your scheming. Lin Yan replied slowly. Plot. What plot? Lin Yuetong looked displeased. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up as she scrutinized Yang Baixiong from head to toe. Then, she asked casually, President Yang. Father, do you want me to marry him so that I can inherit his inheritance? You. What did you say? Yang Baixiong nearly fainted when he heard Lin Yan curse him for being old. Lin Yuetong, who had been startled by Lin Yan's words, bellowed furiously, Lin Yan, are you crazy? What nonsense are you talking about? Lin Yan's eyes were devoid of warmth. Lin Yuetong, I think you're the crazy one. What right do you have to decide my marriage? Lin Yuetong said coldly, I'm your father and you're my son. My blood flows in your veins. Marriage should be decided by parents. This is a matter of course. Who are you to say anything? Lin Yan chuckled softly. Why do I seem to recall that you've already severed all ties with me? She had cried and begged him to save Lin Shia, but he had abandoned her in the pouring rain because she had scolded his mistress. He had cursed her and her mother for being debt collectors. Lin Shia had cried and begged him to save Lin Shia. Chapter 6:12. Lin Yuetong was fuming. Lin Yan, you don't know what's good for you. Do you think I want to care about you? You've been following your mother all these years. What have you done? You've disgraced me. If Shia hadn't spoken up for you, do you think I would have cared about you? You're a girl, yet you didn't study or work hard. In that case, you should get married. He hadn't expected that Lin Shia would be involved in this. Lin Yan clicked her tongue. Get married? Marry a pervert who can be my father at such a young age? You're really my father. Yang Baixiong was infuriated. He had never been humiliated like this before. He glared at Lin Yuetong maliciously. Chairman Lin, you've taught your daughter well. In the corner of the private room was a luxurious U-shaped sofa. In front of the sofa was a marble coffee table. At this moment, a group of guests sitting on the sofa were playing cards and dice while watching this farce in whispers. Isn't that Lin Yan from Meeting One's Match? What's going on today? What else could it be? Lin Yuetong wants to matchmake his daughter with Yang Baixiong, but this actress doesn't seem to know what's good for her. She's disgraced Yang Baixiong. No way. How dare she offend Yang Baixiong? Lin Yuetong glared at Lin Yan and pulled her aside. He whispered anxiously in her ear, Lin Yan, shut up. As long as you listen to him, he won't hit you. Besides, it's normal for men to get physical once in a while. What's wrong with President Yang? He's just a little older. He's already divorced. If he marries you, you'll have a legitimate status. You won't have to do anything and you won't have to worry about food and drinks. Many women wouldn't be able to get such a good man. What else do you want? Lin Yan snorted softly when she heard Lin Yuetong's tone. If that's so good, why don't you leave it to Lin Shia? Lin Yuetong inhaled deeply and hissed, how dare you mention Shia? How can you be compared to Shia? You fool around all day and didn't even graduate from high school. You have a bad reputation in the entertainment circle. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even have the right to meet someone like Yang Baixiong. He simply doesn't know what's good for him. With your qualifications, who else do you want to marry? Did she want to be like Shia and find a young master like Han Yishuan? Simply a fool's dream. Lin Yuetong ordered, hurry up and apologize to President Yang. Even if you want to die, don't drag me down with you. Don't blame me for not warning you. With Yang Baixiong's methods, even I won't be able to protect you if you offend him. Lin Yan had heard of Yang Baixiong's character. This person was particularly prideful and vengeful. He was known to be ruthless in the circle, and almost no one in the circle dared to provoke him. This kind of sinister and ruthless character, once touched, it would be very difficult to escape. At this moment, the group of people in the private room were watching coldly from the sidelines. No one wanted to interfere in this matter. Lin Yan was about to reply when she heard a familiar voice. Miss Lin. Pei Nanshu had walked over with a warm smile on his face. He gazed at Lin Yan and said, Miss Lin, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here. Chapter 613. Lin Yan was startled for a moment before she hurriedly greeted him. Hi, Mr. Pei. She had to pretend that she wasn't familiar with him. Pei Nanshu glanced at Lin Yuetong and Yang Baixiong discreetly before he told Lin Yan, it's rare to bump into you. I have some work-related matters to discuss with you. Are you free now? Lin Yan couldn't reject her idol, so she replied hastily, yes, of course. Pei Nanshu nodded at Lin Yuetong and Yang Baixiong as a form of greeting before he led Lin Yan to the couch in the corner. Lin Yuetong, who hadn't expected that Pei Nanshu would step forward and get involved in this mess, turned pale. If he remembered correctly, his daughter had been involved in a scandal with Pei Nanshu recently. Could there be something going on between Xiaoyan and Pei Nanshu? However, Lin Yuetong dismissed this conjecture quickly. That was impossible. His daughter must be trying to ride on Pei Nanshu's coattails. Pei Nanshu and Lin Yan belonged to the same company and they had acted in the same production team. Perhaps he really had something to discuss with her. However, regardless of whether Pei Nanshu really had something to say or whether he was trying to help her, he had to give him face. Although Pei Nanshu was just an artist and didn't have any power in the Pei family or JM Corporation, his surname was Pei. Yang Baixiong's face darkened when he saw that Lin Yan had ignored him and chatted with Pei Nanshu. Lin Yuetong had no choice but to appease Yang Baixiong. President Yang, don't stoop to my daughter's level. I will scold her later. Forget it. I'm afraid your daughter is too arrogant. I'm an old man who has been divorced a few times. I'm not worthy of her. Yang Baixiong sneered coldly. President Yang, what are you talking about? Don't worry, I'll make this ignorant girl apologize to you later. She can apologize in any way you want her to, until you're appeased. Lin Yuetong promised. Chu Jiayao watched Pei Nanshu save the damsel in distress with a meaningful look in his eyes. He didn't need to know what was on his mind. Pei Nanshu ignored Chu Jiayao's curious gaze and led Lin Yan to the couch. He poured her a glass of water and asked, Sister-in-law. Miss Lin, what happened? Lin Yan shrugged. As you can see, my father asked me to go on a blind date with President Yang. Although Pei Nanshu had expected this, his face still darkened. Yang Baixiong is about the same age as your father. He also has a bunch of children who are abusive and violent. His reputation in the industry is terrible. Why would your father introduce you to such a blind date? Lin Yan shrugged her shoulders. He doesn't think so. He thinks that marrying Yang Baixiong is a huge advantage for me. Pei Nanshu looked infuriated. How can you have such a father? Isn't he pushing you into the fire pit? If it's really for your own good, even if I introduce you to a steady ordinary person, it's still better than someone like Yang Baixiong. Lin Yan was touched beyond words. Her idol was handsome, kind, and righteous. Chapter 614. Pei Nanshu knew that his status was special, so it wasn't convenient for him to get involved in this matter. Otherwise, rumors would spread and it would affect Lin Yan's reputation. Besides, even if he had helped Lin Yan temporarily, he would only be able to protect her for a while. If he wasn't around, Yang Baixiong would definitely cause trouble for Lin Yan. Don't worry. I'll deal with whatever comes my way. Thank you for helping me out today. I will handle the rest, Lin Yan replied nonchalantly. She didn't want Pei Nanxiu to get involved in this matter, lest he got into trouble. Actually, she was really curious. Lin Yuetong was really bold to introduce Yang Baixiong, who was a violent sadist, to her. Wasn't he afraid that she would accidentally cripple him? Suddenly, a thought struck Lin Yan as she glanced at Pei Nanxiu nervously. Ahem. Oh yeah, Mr. Pei, you and I know about this. Please don't tell your brother. Although I was tricked by Dad, if he finds out that I went on a blind date, he will definitely be angry. Pei Nanxiu scratched his nose awkwardly. Before Pei Nanxiu could reply, the door to the private room was pushed open. Lin Yan's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets when she saw the man standing at the door. The man was wearing an oversized black trench coat, a tailored retro suit, and a checkered shirt. The silver cufflinks on his cufflinks shone brightly, and his gold-rimmed glasses shone with a gloomy luster. His face, which looked as though it had been sculpted by God, emitted a chilling aura that seemed to freeze the atmosphere in the room. Pei Yucheng, Lin Yan coughed violently and almost bit her tongue. What kind of luck was this? Speak of the devil and he will appear. Wasn't Pei Yucheng on a business trip overseas? Why was he back all of a sudden and here? Although today's dinner was a high-class event, it couldn't possibly invite a big shot like Pei Yucheng. Instinctively, Lin Yan glanced at Pei Nanxiu. Pei Nanxiu coughed softly and avoided Lin Yan's gaze. He didn't dare to not report such a big thing to his big brother. In fact, he was also very puzzled. Big brother would only be back in a few days, and he did not know why he had brought forward his return schedule. When he informed Big Brother of this matter, Big Brother seemed to have just gotten off the plane, so as soon as he informed Big Brother of this matter, Big Brother directly rushed over. Lin Yan wasn't the only one. Everyone in the room was shocked. Kai Hongan, a real estate tycoon, had organized this event. He had met Pei Yucheng at several events, so he recognized him immediately. Pei. Boss Pei? Kai Hongan's hand that was holding the glass trembled, and the wine inside spilled. He sobered up and quickly stood up, stumbling in the direction of the door. Hearing Kai Hongan's words, all the guests in the room were stunned. Holy shit. Boss Pei, which Boss Pei? Pei Yucheng? Are you serious? Pei Yucheng, the president of JM Corporation? Kai Hongan smiled so widely that the wrinkles on his face looked like chrysanthemums. He walked towards the man, trembling. Boss Pei. It really is you. What wind blew you here? Your presence brings light to my humble dwelling. Kai Hongan had never invited Pei Yucheng. Of course, he didn't have the right to do so, so he had no idea why a big shot like Pei Yucheng had suddenly come. His heart was pounding in fear. Boss Pei, I wonder why you're here. Kai Hongan asked carefully. Chapter 6:15. Boss Pei, I wonder why you're here. Kai Hongan asked carefully. Lin Yan's first reaction was to flee. However, it was too late. A second later, Pei Yucheng's eyes pierced through the crowd and landed on Lin Yan. He said coldly, I'm looking for someone. Looking for someone? Everyone followed Pei Yucheng's line of sight and came to a realization. No wonder. Pei Yucheng had to be here to look for his brother, Pei Nanxiu. Kai Hongan owned this club, so it was considered his territory. Kai Hongan replied eagerly, Oh, you're here to look for Mr. Pei. President Pei, please come in. Since you're here, why don't you stay for a while? Let me be your host. Everyone in the industry knew about Pei Yucheng. His business wasn't limited to the country. His mother's family had a powerful background overseas as well. He usually looked gentle and aloof, but the way he did things made people shudder. If there was someone in the business world that no one wanted to offend, it had to be Pei Yucheng. People tried to get close to Pei Yucheng, but everyone knew that he didn't like to socialize and rarely attended meals. Kai Hongan had merely mentioned it casually, so he hadn't harbored much hope. Who would have thought that Pei Yucheng would say, "Sorry to disturb you"? Kai Hongan was overwhelmed by the favor. He had never imagined that he would be so honored. He hurriedly ushered Pei Yucheng in. "President Pei, please come in. Please take a seat." Kai Hongan led Pei Yucheng to the main seat in the middle. However, Pei Yucheng paused halfway. Pei Nanxiu stood up and said, "Big brother, please sit here." He gave up his seat next to Lin Yan. Pei Yucheng's eyes inadvertently darted to the bitter girl beside him. He nodded slightly and sat on Pei Nanxiu's left side. Lin Yan swallowed her saliva and instinctively straightened her back. Oh no, the more nonchalant Pei Yucheng appeared, the more nervous Lin Yan became. If he lost control of himself, their relationship would definitely be exposed in front of so many people. At that time, she would be torn to pieces by thousands of fans. Chu Jiayao made way for Pei Nanxiu to sit beside Pei Yucheng. It was only natural that Pei Yucheng and Pei Nanxiu would sit together. Hence, no one sensed anything amiss or noticed Lin Yan's unusual behavior. However, a small number of female customers cast envious glances at Lin Yan, who was sitting next to Pei Yucheng. Unbeknownst to him, Lin Yan felt as though her butt had been set on fire. She even felt like dying. I really want to change seats, however, he did not dare to move. Pei Yucheng's arrival attracted everyone's attention. They had completely forgotten about what had happened between Lin Yan and Yang Baixiong. Even Yang Baixiong forgot about his anger. He cast Lin Yan aside and muttered excitedly, "I didn't expect President Pei to be here today. Recently, their company happened to be bidding for a project. If they could take this opportunity to build a relationship with them, wouldn't it be easier to get twice the results with half the effort?" Chapter 6:16. Lin Yuetong was excited as well. However, he didn't have the right to speak to someone like Pei Yucheng unless someone recommended him. However, the fact that he had once sat with Pei Yucheng at a dinner party was enough for him to brag about for a long time. It would be good enough if he could get acquainted with Pei Yucheng today. Although Yang Baixiong didn't have a high status in the business world, he was considered quite famous. Besides, he had just bid for JM Corporation's advertising project, so it wouldn't be strange for him to speak to him. Hence, Yang Baixiong deliberated for a long time before he mustered his courage and strode over to Pei Yucheng. Yang Baixiong, who had a beer belly, smiled obsequiously. "President Pei, nice to meet you. I'm the boss of Hangda International Media, Yang Baixiong. I recently bid for an advertising project from your company." When Pei Yucheng's eyes landed on Yang Baixiong's face, a cold glint flickered behind his gold-rimmed glasses. However, it was fleeting, as though it had been an illusion. Even though it had only lasted for a moment, it was enough to make Yang Baixiong tremble in fear. What had just happened? Why had he felt that Pei Yucheng's gaze had been so frightening? "President Yang, nice to meet you," Pei Yucheng said with a faint smile. Yang Baixiong snapped back to his senses when he heard Pei Yucheng. He must have been mistaken. Yang Baixiong hadn't expected Pei Yucheng to be so approachable. He had even responded to him. Elated, he began to talk to Pei Yucheng about the advertising project. "President Pei, I'm not trying to brag, but Hangda International Media is one of the top companies in the industry. If you hand this project over to us, we will make sure that it's flawless." Also, Lin Yuetong was even more determined to marry Yang Baixiong when he saw that Yang Baixiong had struck up a conversation with Pei Yucheng. No matter what, he had to make Lin Yan apologize to Yang Baixiong later and coax him back. Pei Yucheng sat there quietly and listened. His expression didn't change at all. Pei Nanxiu remained silent as he sipped his tea. Lin Yan, on the other hand, was perspiring nervously. Judging from Pei Nanxiu's attitude, he should have told Pei Yucheng everything. However, Pei Yucheng didn't seem to be angry at Yang Baixiong. Could this be the calm before the storm? Perhaps she was making a fuss out of nothing. Pei Yuqing was a big shot who had seen all sorts of storms. Why would he get angry over such a trivial matter? Almost everyone in the room had their own thoughts. Hee, Boss Pei, I won't disturb you any further. I hope that you will be lucky enough to get this project. Our Hyundai International will definitely be the best choice for you. I didn't prepare anything today. If there's a chance, I hope to invite you to my place. I'll treat you well then. Yang Baixiong was already fantasizing about having a meal with Pei Yuqing. Yang Baixiong knew that it was a great fortune for someone of his status to speak to Pei Yuqing. He didn't dare say anything else that would make him unhappy. After saying a few words, he retreated tactfully. Then, Kai Hongan and a few other higher-ranking presidents cautiously chatted with Pei Yuqing. Unless Kai Hongan introduced them, no one else dared to step forward and introduce themselves so that they could get to know each other. In the meantime, Lin Yan tried her best to minimize her presence. At the same time, she inched away discreetly. Fortunately, Pei Yuqing was busy and didn't notice her at all. In no time, Lin Yan had successfully distanced herself from him. Great! Hope was right in front of her. Just as she was about to slip away, Pei Yuqing leaned lazily against the couch and snuffed out the cigarette in his hand. Then, his free hand landed on Lin Yan's thigh. Lin Yan, who had been frozen on the spot, was speechless. Chapter 617. Lin Yan's hair stood on end when a cold hand touched her thigh. She glanced at Pei Yuqing, who was trembling in fear. Fortunately, the room was dimly lit and the coffee table blocked her view. No one saw Pei Yuqing's hand. Lin Yan's heart was in her throat, and she didn't dare to make a sound. She didn't dare to move an inch. If someone were to see this, her boyfriend's identity would be completely exposed. Pei Yuqing caught sight of Lin Yan's trembling expression. Where are you going? Pei Yuqing continued to place his hand on Lin Yan's thigh as he leaned against the couch. He rested his forehead on his hand and spoke softly. Lin Yan's heart was streaming with tears. She glanced at the people around her as she whispered, "Ahem. No. No. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere. Mr. Pei, I'll be wherever you are. I don't want to go anywhere." Pei Yuqing didn't expose her. Why didn't you reply to my message? Huh? Message. Lin Yan hurriedly explained, did you send me a message? I'm sorry. I probably didn't pay attention and didn't see it. Pei Yuqing asked, have you been busy recently? Lin Yan replied, I'm fine. I just got a part-time job as a translator, so I went to apply for it. Pei Yuqing asked, really? What company? Lin Yan replied, Lin Yan was on the verge of tears. Boss, please don't talk to me anymore. She would be exposed if she continued. However, Lin Yan didn't dare to ignore Pei Yuqing's question. She answered cautiously as she glanced at Pei Nanxiu for help. Help. Pei Nanxiu was standing nearby, so he naturally heard his big brother's words. When he heard Lin Yan's plea for help, he turned his head and avoided Lin Yan's gaze. Lin Yan was speechless. No way. Not only had he summoned his boss, but he had also left her in the lurch. There was a crack in the perfect image of his idol in his heart. When Pei Yuqing was thinking, he would habitually tap his fingers. Hence, his fingers were tapping Lin Yan's thighs. Lin Yan felt as though her heart would tremble with every movement of his fingers. In the private room, everyone was initially very restrained, but after 3 rounds of wine, they gradually relaxed a little. At this moment, he heard a girl's soft voice. Boss. Boss Pei. Hello, I'm Zhong Xuening, an artist from Summit Entertainment. The girl who came over to talk to him was a very popular A-list female star. The girl had a pretty face and wore a white tailor-made gown from House C, which deliberately revealed her beautiful collarbone and waistline. She looked pure and sexy. Next to the girl in the white dress was a girl with curly hair. She was also a popular actress. She was Zhong Xiaowei, Zhong Xuaning's younger sister. Compared to her sister, Zhong Xuaning, Zhong Xiaowei looked more lively. One was gentle and pure, while the other was lively and adorable. When this pair of sisters stood together, it could be said to be pleasing to the eye. The sisters were every man's dream. Lin Yan couldn't help but sigh. This was indeed summit entertainment. All the female artists were so beautiful that even a woman like her couldn't help but be attracted to them. Given Pei Yuqing's status and identity, he would probably have beautiful women throwing themselves at him. Hence, the question was, how had Pei Yuqing fallen for her when his standards of beauty had been elevated to such a high level? Chapter 618. Lin Yan's heart leaped into her throat when she saw the two sisters approach her. Although the light was dim and the coffee table was blocking the view, if someone looked carefully, they would still be able to see it. If they were not careful, they would discover their private actions. Pei Yuqing's eyes darted to the two girls, who blushed with excitement. Zhong Xiaowei glanced sideways at Lin Yan, who was sitting next to Pei Yuqing. Her eyes were filled with disgust and disdain. However, she smiled and said, "Lin Yan, please move over." Lin Yan, who had been called out, was speechless. She would even give her seat to the two of them. She was so scared that she was about to cry. Lin Yan almost blurted out a yes, until she felt the man's long fingers on her thighs tighten. F***ck. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yuqing from the corner of her eye. The latter's expression didn't change. She felt that if Pei Yuqing were to enter the entertainment industry, he would definitely win an Oscar. None of the people in the room could guess what this big shot had done. Lin Yan pulled a long face and said, "No way. As Pei Yuqing's girlfriend, how could she give up her seat to the woman who had seduced her boyfriend?" She couldn't let her image crumble. Zhong Xiaowei's expression froze, and Zhong Xuaning's face darkened. Many of the guests in this room were famous female celebrities, so they naturally harbored ulterior motives. After all, this was Pei Yuqing, a godly businessman. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Who wouldn't want to try their luck? Lin Yan, Zhong Xiaowei, and Zhong Xuaning belonged to the same company. Lin Yan had joined the company later, so she was considered a junior. Given the circumstances, anyone who knew that the two sisters would seize this rare opportunity to get close to Pei Yuqing would give them some face. Who had expected Lin Yan to reject them? Who did she think she was? How could she have the courage to sit next to someone like Pei Yuqing? What right did she have? Lin Yan braced herself and explained, "My leg is injured, and it hurts. I can't move." Wasn't this excuse a little too crude? However, they had to maintain their image in front of him, so they couldn't flare up. They could only maintain their polite smiles. "I see. Forget it then." Thus, the two sisters could only sit back down unwillingly. Zhong Xuaning said kindly, "Lin Yan, you should go to President Yang's." However, Lin Yan didn't reply. Zhong Xiaowei twisted her fingers and stomped her feet angrily. "Sister, this woman is too shameless." She was lucky enough to sit next to Pei Yuqing, but she refused to leave. Does she want to seduce Pei Yuqing? The other female artistes next to them were also full of mockery. "You're really a toad lusting after a swan's meat. Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself?" On the other side, Lin Yuetong was fawning over Yang Baixiong. "President Yang, I didn't expect you to be working with JM Corporation. Hengda International is indeed powerful." In fact, Hengda International was still in the bidding stage. They didn't even know if they could win the bid. However, Lin Yuetong's words had pleased Yang Baixiong. "President Yang, we are going to be a family sooner or later. If you manage to invite President Pei, why don't we invite him to dinner together?" Lin Yuetong pressed on. Chapter 619. Yang Baixiong looked haughty as the fat on his face jiggled. He snorted coldly. "Family? President Lin, don't be so full of yourself. I wouldn't dare to be associated with the Lin family. Yang Baixiong glanced at Lin Yan mockingly. Miss Lin is a young and beautiful lady. Why would she fall for an old man like me? Lin Yuatong glared at Lin Yan coldly and chuckled softly. President Yang, look at what you're saying. If my good-for-nothing daughter is lucky enough to marry a man like you, it would be a blessing that she has cultivated for 8 lifetimes. Even if she isn't good enough for you, she should be the one who isn't good enough for you. It's all my fault for raising such a daughter. Lin Yuatong felt a chill run down his spine after he finished speaking. He shivered inexplicably. What was going on? He suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. The other guests chimed in to smooth things over. That's right. Miss Lin's reputation has spread far and wide. Women like her are the hardest to tame. However, given President Yang's charisma, I don't think it would be a problem to tame her. Zhong Xiaowei sneered softly. President Yang, a woman like Lin Yan hasn't been brought up well since she was young. She's wild and unruly. I don't think she's good enough for you. It's her good fortune that you fancy a woman like her. I heard that this woman has hooked up with rich and handsome men. However, she has to see if she has what it takes. Zhong Xuaning quipped. That's right. Which rich and handsome man would be blind enough to like her? They wouldn't even be good enough to fool around with her, let alone marry her. Ha ha. President Lin, don't blame us. We're just being frank. Your daughter isn't on the same level as Miss Shuya. Lin Yuatong looked helpless. If she had even a tenth of Shuya's talent, she wouldn't have ended up like this. He merely smiled and said, it's all right. You're saying this for her own good. Zhong Xiaowei nodded. President Yang, you're right. A person like Lin Yan has to know her place. Otherwise, if you don't even know how much you have, you won't even know how you die in the future. Lin Yuatong was infuriated when he heard this. He had spent so much effort to find a good marriage for this girl, but she had ended up in this state. The daughter that he Muyan taught was not good enough, and she even implicated him for nothing. Lin Yuatong suppressed his anger and apologized to Yang Baixiong. My daughter has been led astray by her mother. She doesn't know any better, and that's why her words were inappropriate and made you unhappy. Lin Yuatong shot Lin Yan a warning look. Xiaoyan, apologize to President Yang now. Lin Yan had humiliated Yang Baixiong today. If she wanted to appease Yang Baixiong, she had to make him regain his dignity. Yang Baixiong was a vengeful person. Since Lin Yan had humiliated him in front of everyone, he wouldn't let it go easily. He raised his glass and muttered drunkenly, apologize. Do you think an apology is enough? Lin Yuatong chuckled and chimed in, President Yang, you're right. An apology has to be sincere. How can I appease your anger? Yang Baixiong snorted coldly and glanced at the waiter. You, open a bottle of Everclear for me. Okay, Mr. Yang. Soon, the waiter brought up a bottle of wine. Chapter 620. Yang Baixiong's cloudy eyes were full of malice. His face was gloomy, and he said in a magnanimous tone, how about this, Miss Lin? If you really want to show your sincerity, drink this whole bottle of wine. As long as you finish it, I will let bygones be bygones and give you another chance. Yang Baixiong's face was filled with mockery. What rich young lady? The rich young lady of the Lin family was Lin Shuya. This woman was merely a pretty actress. How dare she throw a tantrum in front of him? She really didn't know what was good for her. Why didn't she ask around for Yang Baixiong's name? How dare she throw a tantrum in front of him? She still had to suck up to him and lower her head before him. Once this woman married him, he would have plenty of ways to deal with her. Lin Yan raised her eyes and glanced at Yang Baixiong, looking as though she had lost all hope in life. If he wanted to die, he wouldn't implicate her, all right? If her boyfriend's identity was exposed, everyone in the room would die. Lin Yuatong, who noticed that Lin Yan was rooted to the spot, urged her, "Why are you still standing there? President Yang is showing you respect by allowing you to drink. Why are you so immature?" Lin Yan was struggling to cover Pei Yuqing's hand with her clothes as she glanced at the bottle of Everclear. This was one of the strongest liquors in the world. Its alcohol content was as high as 95%. Most people wouldn't even be able to take a sip, let alone a girl who had drunk an entire bottle. Although Lin Yan would be fine even if she drank the entire bottle, an ordinary person would probably lose their life if they drank it. Lin Yan was lost in her thoughts when she heard the rhythmic tapping on her thigh. F***CK. Boss, what kind of hobby is this? Lin Yan pressed Pei Yuqing's hand. Boss, she was wrong. She really knew that she was wrong. Boss, please calm down. Pei Yuqing watched as the girl pressed on his hand, and his eyes glinted with a smile. He didn't move and allowed the girl to press on his hand. Behind the glasses, his eyes, which had been filled with danger, seemed to have softened a little. Pei Yuqing quipped, "Perhaps you don't need a father?" Lin Yan shuddered in fear when she heard that. Why did he sound as though he wanted her father to disappear? Lin Yan muttered, "No. I don't want this father." Boss, do you want to be my father? Pei Yuqing was speechless. Pei Yuqing chuckled softly and replied in a hoarse voice, "It's not impossible. If Miss Lin has this kind of interest." Lin Yan was speechless. She did not thank him. At this moment, in the private room, everyone looked at this scene coldly as if it had nothing to do with them. Everyone had the attitude of watching a good show. TSK, I've long heard that this Yang Baixiong is a ruthless person. He really is ruthless. It is said that several of his previous wives were crippled by him. It's Lin Yan's fault for being so ungrateful. How dare she be so picky? She should be thanking the gods if anyone is willing to be with her. Of all people to offend, you had to offend Yang Baixiong. Serves you right. Let's see how she can still be arrogant now. Yang Baixiong hadn't expected that Lin Yan would still refuse to give him face. She sat there motionlessly. Yang Baixiong, who was drunk, staggered over to Lin Yan with the bottle of wine in his hand. Zhong Xuening and Zhong Xiaowei were elated when they saw that Yang Baixiong was about to explode. Sister, this is going to be a good show. Lin Yan is going to die today. Haha. How pitiful. I don't know if I should call her naive or stupid. Chapter 621. Everyone, including Yang Baixiong and the twins, assumed that Pei Yuqing was just like them. They thought that he was just a bystander watching the drama unfold. Kai Hangan even explained to Pei Yuqing the reason for the gossip. Lin Yan studied Pei Yuqing carefully from the corner of her eyes, afraid that he would explode in anger. Yang Baixiong was standing in front of Lin Yan and Pei Yuqing. He was standing, and the coffee table wasn't high. From his vantage point, he could see Pei Yuqing's hand on Lin Yan's thigh if he lowered his head. However, Yang Baixiong's attention was focused on Lin Yan, so he didn't notice it. Just as Lin Yan was thinking about how to get through this, Pei Yuqing's hand suddenly left her thigh. He picked up a lighter and lit a cigarette. Yang Baixiong's saliva was flying everywhere as he shook the bottle of wine and pointed it at Lin Yan's nose. Lin Yan, let me tell you. If you don't finish this bottle of wine and kneel down to apologize to me, I will make sure you suffer. Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief when Pei Yuqing's hand left her thigh. Pei Yuqing retracted his hand and placed it on Lin Yan's thigh once more. How dare a woman like you look down on me? Are you still thinking about Boss Pei? Do you know who President Pei is? Why would he like someone like you? Yang Baixiong couldn't help but glance at Pei Yuqing from the corner of his eye. At first, it was just a casual glance, but in the next second, Yang Baixiong was like a duck that had its throat stuck. All the curses he was about to say were suddenly stuck in his throat. What? What had he seen? Yang Baixiong's eyes widened as he stared at Pei Yuqing's hand on Lin Yan's thigh. He couldn't breathe, and his face and neck were red. His entire body was shaking like a leaf. If he had seen something that he couldn't believe, hand, President Pei's hand. Why was it on Lin Yan's thigh? Yang Baixiong's mind went blank. No, he drank too much. He must have drunk too much. His eyes must be blurred. A second later, he watched as Pei Yuqing grabbed Lin Yan's hand and pinched it. Then, their fingers intertwined. Lin Yan straightened her back and blinked as she glanced at Pei Yuqing. She glanced at Yang Baixiong, who looked terrified, and then at Pei Yuqing, who looked lazy. He seems to have seen it, Pei Yuqing replied. I did it on purpose. Lin Yan was speechless. Yang Baixiong. At this distance, he could hear their voices. How was this possible? This woman and Pei Yuqing, but this, no. This was absolutely impossible. He must be crazy. How could a woman like Lin Yan be related to a big shot like Pei Yuqing? However, no matter how shocked Yang Baixiong was, the truth was right in front of him. At this moment, how could Yang Baixiong still be drunk? He was completely sober from the shock. It was as if the world had collapsed. Heavens, what had he done? Who was Pei Yuqing? He could destroy Hengdai International with a flick of his finger and make them wish they were dead. And he had actually cuckolded him in front of President Pei. You're tuning in to the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.